Life, in all its unpredictable beauty, has a way of throwing us into turbulent waters without warning. The ground beneath our feet can shift suddenly, leaving us grappling with uncertainty, fear, and a heavy heart. In moments like these, when the future blurs into a haze of what-ifs and our thoughts spiral into chaotic narratives, it feels as though we're drowning in a sea of our own making. But what if the key to navigating these storms isn't in changing the weather, but in learning how to sail differently? Buddhist teachings offer us a timeless, profound perspective on worry and suffering, one that doesn't ask us to deny our pain, but instead shows us how to relate to it with wisdom and compassion. At the heart of these teachings is a radical truth. Our minds, while powerful, are not always our friends. The Buddha himself reminded us that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. This isn't a call to positive thinking Pollyannaism, but an invitation to examine the nature of our thoughts and their hold on our experience. When hard times hit, our minds often become battlegrounds. The wild monkey mind, as the Buddha described it, swings from one fear to another, weaving intricate tapestries of disaster based on fragments of past pain and insecurity. Those voices in our heads, "I'm not good enough, everything is falling apart," can feel like absolute truths, trapping us in cycles of anxiety and self-doubt. But here's the liberating secret: thoughts are not facts. They are passing clouds in the vast sky of our awareness. Buddhism teaches us to become observers rather than believers, to step back and witness the parade of mental activity without getting swept up in its drama. This introduction to Buddhist wisdom isn't about offering quick fixes or spiritual bypassing. It's about equipping you with practical, ancient tools to reorient your relationship with worry. We'll explore how to recognize that your thoughts are merely mental habits, not definitive truths about your reality. We'll discover the power of returning to the present moment, a sanctuary where peace resides, untainted by the imagined horrors of the future. You'll learn why the illusion of control causes suffering and how to channel your energy into what truly matters: your breath, your responses, and your inner landscape. Moreover, we'll delve into the profound truth that your worst days have shaped you in ways you might not yet see. Those moments of suffering, though painful, have forged your resilience, deepened your compassion, and expanded your capacity for understanding. Buddhism invites us to transform suffering into wisdom, to see difficulties not as dead ends, but as pathways to growth. Throughout this journey, we'll cultivate the discernment to know which waves deserve our attention and which can pass without reaction. We'll learn to reframe challenges as opportunities for awakening and discover how faith rooted in experience, not blind belief, can be the steady light guiding you forward, even when the path isn't fully visible. This isn't merely theoretical wisdom, it's a practical blueprint for navigating life's inevitable storms with grace and inner freedom. As we embark on this exploration, remember that worry is a universal human experience, but how we respond to it is within our power to transform. The teachings that follow aren't asking you to become a monk or abandon your life. They're inviting you to discover the Buddha that resides within you, your innate capacity for peace, clarity, and resilience, so that even in the toughest times, your heart can remain open, your mind clear, and your spirit continue to grow. Your thoughts are not always the truth. Embracing the nature of the mind, in the quiet corners of our awareness, a profound truth whispers. A truth that can revolutionize how we navigate life's challenges. Our thoughts, those seemingly endless streams of words and images flowing through our minds, are not always reliable guides to reality. This is not to say that thoughts are unimportant or should be dismissed outright. Rather, it's an invitation to approach them with discernment, to recognize their nature, and to free ourselves from the chains of believing every thought we think. At the heart of Buddhist teachings is the understanding that the mind, while a powerful tool, often operates on autopilot driven by habit, fear, and conditioning. The Buddha himself likened the undisciplined mind to a wild monkey, constantly swinging from one branch of thought to another, never settling, never truly at peace. This metaphor paints a vivid picture of a mind that leaps from worry to worry, from fear to regret, creating narratives that may have little basis in reality. The illusion of thought. When we're in the throes of hard times, our thoughts can become especially loud and convincing. They might tell us stories like, "I'll never get through this," "I'm not good enough," or "everything is falling apart." These thoughts can feel so real, so tangible, that we begin to identify with them as truths about ourselves and our circumstances. Yet the essence of Buddhist wisdom lies in reminding us that just because we think something doesn't mean it's true. Thoughts are mental habits, patterns etched into our neural pathways through repetition and experience. They often arise not from a clear-seeing mind, but from a place of fear, insecurity, and past pain. Consider how many of your anxious thoughts are rooted in what-ifs that may never come to pass, or in ruminations about past events that cannot be changed. These thoughts are like echoes from a mind that has not yet learned to rest in the present moment. Becoming an observer. Buddhism invites us to shift our relationship with our thoughts from one of identification to one of observation. Instead of getting caught up in the drama of each thought, we can learn to step back and simply notice them as they arise and pass away. This practice is the foundation of mindfulness, a practice that has profound implications for how we experience worry and stress. Imagine your thoughts as clouds in the vast sky of your awareness. Some clouds are dark and heavy with stormy emotions, others are light and fluffy, carrying moments of joy or peace, but none of them are the sky itself. The sky represents your true nature, your awareness, your presence, the quiet stillness that underlies all mental activity. When you cultivate this perspective, you begin to see that you are not your thoughts, you are the awareness that observes them. This shift requires practice, patience, and a gentle curiosity. It's not about suppressing thoughts or trying to force them into submission. Instead, it's about creating space between you and your thoughts, allowing them to exist without immediately reacting to them. When a worried thought arises, you might acknowledge it with a simple, there's that thought again, and then return your attention to your breath or to the present moment. The practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of paying attention to the present moment with curiosity and without judgment. It's a practice that can transform your relationship with your thoughts and, consequently, with worry itself. When you practice mindfulness, you learn to sit beside the rushing river of your mind without jumping in. You become aware of the thoughts as they come and go without getting swept away by them. This practice can take many forms, from formal meditation sessions to moments of mindful awareness throughout your day. One simple mindfulness exercise is to focus on your breath. Find a quiet place to sit comfortably, close your eyes, and bring your attention to the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your nostrils. When you notice your mind wandering, which it will, as that's what minds do, gently guide it back to your breath. This seemingly simple act trains your mind to return to the present moment and helps you develop the skill of observing your thoughts without getting caught up in them. Another practice is to bring mindful awareness to everyday activities. Whether you're washing dishes, taking a walk, or eating a meal, pay full attention to the experience. Notice the sensations, sounds, and sights without getting lost in thoughts about the past or future. This practice helps aim you in the present moment and reduces the power of worry by bringing you back to what's actually happening right now. The power of non-attachment. A key principle in Buddhism is non-attachment. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or detached from life. Rather, it's about recognizing that clinging to thoughts, emotions, or circumstances creates suffering. When we're attached to a particular thought or outcome, we set ourselves up for disappointment and worry. By learning to observe your thoughts without attachment, you free yourself from their control. You realize that thoughts are just temporary mental events, like passing clouds, and that you don't have to hold on to them or believe them. This doesn't mean you ignore your thoughts or pretend they don't matter. Instead, you acknowledge them and let them go, like watching leaves float down a stream. The transformation of perspective. As you continue to practice observing your thoughts and letting go of attachment to them, something remarkable begins to happen. You start to develop a quiet confidence that no fearful thought can destroy. You recognize that your thoughts are not who you are, and this realization brings a profound sense of freedom. This perspective transformation is deeply healing. It allows you to approach difficult situations with clarity and equanimity, rather than being driven by fear and anxiety. You begin to see that your thoughts are just one aspect of your experience, and that your true nature is the vast, open awareness that lies beneath them. Integrating the practice into daily life. The beauty of these teachings is that they're not confined to meditation cushions or monasteries. They can be woven into the fabric of daily life, offering practical support during moments of worry and stress. When you notice yourself getting caught up in anxious thoughts, take a moment to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Often, you'll find that your thoughts are based on fear rather than reality, and that they're neither helpful nor kind. By questioning them in this way, you begin to weaken their hold on you. Another way to integrate this practice is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts can help you gain perspective on them. As you write, you might notice patterns, or realize that certain thoughts are recurring, but not necessarily true. This process of externalizing your thoughts can make them feel less overwhelming and more manageable. The journey continues. Embracing the truth that your thoughts are not always the truth is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, kindness toward yourself, and a willingness to practice again and again. There will be moments when you get swept up by your thoughts, and that's okay. The important thing is to gently return to the practice of observation, to remember that you are more than your thoughts, and to trust that with time, worry can lose its grip on you. As you walk this path, remember that you're not alone. The Buddha and countless practitioners throughout history have faced the same struggles with the mind and have found liberation through these teachings. By applying them in your life, you're joining a timeless tradition of seeking peace and wisdom in the midst of life's challenges. In the following sections of this exploration, we'll delve deeper into other aspects of Buddhist teachings that complement this understanding of thoughts. We'll learn how focusing on the present moment can free us from anxiety about the future, how embracing the reality that we can't control everything brings peace, and how even our worst days hold the potential for growth and transformation. But for now, take a deep breath, recognize that your thoughts are just thoughts, and step into the freedom that comes from not taking them too seriously. 2. Focus on the present, not the prediction. Anchoring in the now. The trap of future projection. The human mind is a powerful tool, capable of incredible feats of imagination and planning. But when it comes to worry, this same power can become our greatest burden. Our minds have a tendency to leap forward into the future, weaving intricate scenarios of what could go wrong. We imagine failures before they happen, losses before they're experienced, and catastrophes that may never come to pass. This habit of future projection is at the heart of much of our anxiety and stress. When we're caught in the web of what if, we're not actually dealing with reality. We're creating mental simulations that have no basis in the present moment. The future, as the Buddha taught, does not exist yet. It's a construct of the mind, a blank canvas onto which we project our fears and desires. The problem is that these projections feel real. They trigger the same stress responses in our bodies as if the imagined events were actually happening. Our hearts race, our minds spin, and we're left feeling overwhelmed and powerless. The present moment, the only reality. The antidote to this future obsession lies in the present moment. The present is the only time that truly exists, the only place where peace and clarity can be found. In this moment, right now, you're breathing. You're alive. Your senses are engaged with the world around you. The present moment is your anchor in the storm of worry. Buddhism teaches us that the present is the safest place we can be. It's where your breath is, where your body is, and where peace resides. When you're fully present, you're not haunted by the ghosts of the past or the specters of the future. You're simply here, experiencing life as it unfolds. The practice of mindful presence. Cultivating a focus on the present moment is a practice that requires intention and patience, but it's one of the most transformative tools in the Buddhist tradition. Here are some ways to bring yourself back to the now. Mindful breathing. Your breath is your most reliable anchor to the present moment. It's always with you, always happening right now. When you notice your mind wandering into future scenarios, gently bring your attention to the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your nostrils. Notice the coolness of the air as it enters, the warmth as it exits. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. This simple act of focusing on your breath can slow down a racing mind and bring you back to the present. Sensory awareness. Engage your senses to ground yourself in the here and now. What do you see around you? What sounds can you hear? What textures can you feel? What scents are present? What tastes are on your tongue? By tuning into your sensory experience, you're pulled out of the abstract world of thought and into the tangible reality of the present moment. Body scan meditation. This practice involves systematically bringing your attention to different parts of your body, from your toes to the top of your head. As you focus on each area, notice any sensations without trying to change them. This helps you become more aware of your physical presence in the moment and can release tension that you weren't even aware you were holding. Letting go of the need to control. A big part of why we get lost in future predictions is the illusion of control. We think that by imagining every possible outcome, we can prepare ourselves or even prevent bad things from happening. But the truth is, much of life is beyond our control. The Buddha taught that the desire to control everything is a root cause of suffering. When you find yourself trying to script the future, gently remind yourself that the future isn't yours to control. Your energy is better spent on what you can influence right now. Your actions, your responses, your mindset. By letting go of the need to predict and control the future, you free yourself from a lot of unnecessary anxiety. The temporal nature of worries. It's also helpful to recognize that most of the things we worry about never actually happen. Our minds are wired to err on the side of caution, to imagine the worst-case scenario as a way of preparing for potential threats. But this survival mechanism, while useful in the context of our evolutionary past, often causes more harm than good in our modern lives. Take a moment to reflect on past worries. How many of the things you feared actually came to pass? And of those that did, how many turned out to be as bad as you imagined? Often our worries are like shadows, looming and threatening in the mind, but insubstantial and harmless in reality. Using the present as a refuge. The more you practice returning to the present moment, the more you'll discover it as a refuge in times of stress. When you're anchored in the now, you're not at the mercy of your mind's fear-mongering. You can respond to life's challenges with clarity and wisdom rather than reacting from a place of anxiety. This doesn't mean that you ignore the future entirely. Planning and foresight are important aspects of life, but there's a difference between thoughtful preparation and compulsive worrying. The former is grounded in the present moment and takes appropriate action, while the latter keeps you trapped in a cycle of fear and anxiety. Integrating present moment awareness into daily life. The beauty of this teaching is that it's not confined to formal meditation practice. You can bring present moment awareness into every aspect of your daily life. When you're walking, pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground. When you're eating, savor each bite and notice the flavors and textures. When you're talking with someone, be fully present with them, listening without planning your response. When you're working, focus on the task at hand rather than getting lost in thoughts about what you have to do next. Cultivating patience with the process. Like all aspects of Buddhist practice, learning to focus on the present moment is a journey. There will be days when you're effortlessly present, and days when your mind feels like a runaway train. Be patient with yourself and approach the practice with kindness. Every time you gently bring your attention back to the now, you're strengthening your ability to live in the present moment. Conclusion. The future will always be uncertain, but your relationship with that uncertainty can change. By focusing on the present moment, you take away much of the power that worry holds over you. You begin to see that peace isn't something you have to chase after or find somewhere else. It's always been here, waiting for you in the present moment. As you continue to practice this awareness, you'll find yourself better equipped to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience, no longer drowning in imagined futures, but standing firmly on the solid ground of now. 3. You can't control everything, but you can control this. Embracing equanimity. The illusion of control. Human beings are wired with an innate desire for control. It's a survival mechanism that served our ancestors well in a world where predicting and managing threats meant the difference between life and death. In modern times, this drive for control has evolved into a pervasive need to orchestrate every aspect of our lives, from our careers and relationships to the outcomes of our efforts and the behavior of others. We meticulously plan, strategize, and scheme, believing that if we can just get everything right, we'll be safe, happy, and free from suffering. But life, in all its chaotic beauty, rarely adheres to our blueprints. The Buddha recognized this fundamental truth. The desire to control everything is a primary source of human suffering. Control, as we perceive it, is largely an illusion. The tight grip on life. When we cling to the belief that we can and should control everything, we set ourselves up for inevitable disappointment. We become like someone trying to grasp water in a fist. The tighter we squeeze, the more slips through our fingers. This relentless pursuit of control manifests in various ways. Micromanaging every detail of a project at work, obsessively analyzing every interaction and relationship, or frantically trying to alter someone else's opinions and actions to align with our expectations. The result is often stress, frustration, and a sense of helplessness when reality refuses to bend to our will. The nature of life, impermanence, and unpredictability. Central to Buddhist philosophy is the concept of impermanence, anicca. Everything in life is in a constant state of flux. People change, circumstances shift, and even our own thoughts and emotions come and go like weather patterns. The Buddha taught that understanding and accepting this impermanent nature of existence is crucial to finding peace. When we resist this natural flow and try to force stability where none can exist, we create suffering for ourselves. Life's unpredictability isn't a flaw, but an inherent quality, and learning to dance with it, rather than fighting it, is a key lesson on the path to inner freedom. Shifting from external to internal control. Buddhism invites us to redirect our focus from trying to control external circumstances to mastering our internal responses. While we may not have power over the world around us, we do have choices about how we react to it. This shift in perspective is profoundly empowering because it places the locus of control within us, regardless of what's happening externally. The power of response versus reaction. When we're faced with challenging situations, our instinct is often to react impulsively. Someone criticizes us, and we lash out in defense. Plans fall apart, and we spiral into panic. These reactions are automatic, driven by the mind's habitual patterns, and often rooted in fear or ego. Buddhism teaches us to cultivate the space between stimulus and response, a space where we can choose how to act rather than being slaves to our impulses. This practice of mindful responding involves pausing, taking a breath, and observing our initial emotional response before deciding how to proceed. It's in this pause that freedom lies. By creating this gap, we prevent ourselves from being hijacked by our emotions and instead respond in a way that aligns with our values and long-term well-being. The practice of equanimity. Equanimity is a cornerstone of Buddhist practice and a quality that arises from letting go of the need to control. It's often described as a balanced state of mind that remains steady amid life's ups and downs. Equanimity doesn't mean apathy or disengagement. Rather, it's a profound inner stability that allows us to navigate challenges with grace and clarity. Cultivating equanimity involves developing a non-reactive awareness of experiences, whether pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. When something difficult arises, instead of resisting or avenging it, we simply acknowledge it and maintain our balance. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but about not getting swept away by them. It's like standing firm during a storm, knowing that the winds will eventually pass. The metaphor of the storm. Imagine standing in the middle of a raging storm. You can't stop the wind from blowing or the rain from falling. That's the nature of the storm. But you can choose how you respond to it. You can brace against it, fighting every gust and getting exhausted in the process. Or you can find a way to stand calmly, allowing the storm to move around you without losing your balance. Equanimity is that ability to remain centered, even when the world around you is in chaos. Practical applications of internal control. Understanding that we can't control everything but can control our responses is a profound realization, but how do we apply this in our daily lives? Here are some practical ways to embody this teaching. Mindfulness in challenging situations. When faced with a stressful event, whether it's a difficult conversation, a setback at work, or an unexpected crisis, take a moment to pause and breathe. Notice the sensations in your body and the emotions that arise without immediately reacting. This mindfulness practice helps you step out of automatic pilot and into a more conscious response. Reframing perceptions of control. Many of the things we worry about are outside our control: the weather, other people's opinions, global events, but we do have control over our own actions, mindset, and energy. By focusing on these internal aspects, we can shift from feeling helpless to empowered. For example, instead of stressing over whether you'll get a promotion at work, which depends on many factors beyond your control, focus on doing your best in your current role and cultivating a positive attitude. The power of acceptance. Acceptance isn't about resignation, it's about recognizing reality as it is and finding peace in that recognition. When you accept that you can't control everything, you free yourself from the exhausting struggle against life's natural flow. This doesn't mean you stop taking action or caring about outcomes. It means you take wise action while letting go of attachment to specific results. The ripple effect of internal mastery. When we work on mastering our internal responses rather than trying to control external circumstances, we create positive ripple effects in our lives and relationships. By responding with equanimity to challenging situations, we become more resilient and less reactive. This resilience allows us to face difficulties with greater clarity and wisdom, often leading to better outcomes. Moreover, our ability to stay centered in the face of chaos can inspire those around us. In a world that often values control and domination, demonstrating the power of acceptance and balanced response offers a different paradigm, one that emphasizes peace, understanding, and compassion. Integrating this wisdom into daily life. The journey of embracing equanimity and letting go of the illusion of control is ongoing. Here are some daily practices to help integrate this teaching into your life. Morning intentions. Start your day by setting an intention to focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. Remind yourself that you can't control external events, but can choose how you respond to them. Check-ins throughout the day. Periodically pause and check in with yourself. Notice if you're feeling stressed or anxious about something you can't control. Gently redirect your attention to what you can influence in the present moment. Gratitude practice. Reflect on the things in your life that you can't control but are grateful for, like the changing seasons, the laughter of children, or the kindness of strangers. This helps shift your perspective from resistance to appreciation. Mindful decision-making. When making decisions, ask yourself which aspects of the situation are within your control, and which aren't. Focus your energy and attention on the former. Conclusion. The journey from the illusion of external control to the empowerment of internal mastery is a transformative one. It's about acknowledging the limits of human influence while discovering the profound strength that lies in choosing our responses wisely. By embracing equanimity and focusing on what we can control, our breath, our mindset, our actions, we begin to navigate life's challenges with greater grace and resilience. This practice doesn't eliminate difficulties, but it changes our relationship with them, allowing us to move through life's storms with an unshakable inner peace. As you continue to explore this teaching, remember that it's not about achieving perfection, but about cultivating a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Your worst days still built you, transforming suffering into strength. The paradox of pain. Life, in all its messy glory, is a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow. There are days that shine with brilliance, filling our hearts with gratitude and peace, and there are days that leave us shattered, questioning our resilience and the meaning of our struggles. The Buddha understood that suffering is an inescapable part of the human experience. It's not a flaw in the system, but a fundamental aspect of existence. But within this truth lies a profound paradox. Our worst days, the ones that push us to the brink, are often the very moments that shape us into who we are meant to be. Suffering as a teacher. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering is not seen as a meaningless punishment or a random misfortune. Instead, it's viewed as a powerful teacher, one that, when approached with the right mindset, can lead to profound growth and transformation. Just as a seed must be pressed into the dark soil and endure weight and pressure to sprout, we too can emerge stronger and wiser from our difficulties. The seed metaphor. Consider a seed buried deep in the earth. The soil presses down on it, creating an environment that seems hostile to life. Yet, without this pressure, the seed cannot break open and begin to grow. The very forces that threaten to crush it are the same ones that provide the conditions for its transformation. In much the same way, our darkest moments, the losses, heartbreaks, failures, and disappointments, can become the catalysts for profound personal evolution. The alchemy of suffering. Buddhism speaks of the concept of turning poison into medicine. This alchemical process involves taking the painful experiences that could destroy us and, through mindful awareness and reflection, transforming them into sources of insight, compassion, and inner strength. It's not about denying the pain or pretending it didn't happen. It's about acknowledging the suffering and then asking, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me grow? The gifts of hardship. When we look back on our lives, we often find that our most difficult moments have left us with unexpected gifts. These gifts may not be immediately apparent in the throes of suffering, but with time and reflection, they reveal themselves as invaluable treasures. The gift of resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to bend but not break under the weight of life's challenges. Each time we face a difficult situation and survive it, even if we're forever changed by it, we build resilience. We discover that we are stronger than we thought, that we have inner resources we never knew existed. This resilience becomes a well from which we can draw on future challenges. The gift of compassion. Suffering opens our hearts in ways that joy often cannot. When we've experienced pain ourselves, we become more attuned to the suffering of others. We develop empathy and understanding, recognizing that everyone is battling their own invisible struggles. This compassion not only connects us more deeply to others, but also helps us heal, as giving and receiving compassion are both powerful agents of transformation. The gift of humility. Hardship teaches us humility by reminding us of our limitations and the impermanent nature of all things. It shows us that we are not in control of everything, and that life has its own rhythm and wisdom. This humility isn't about self-deprecation, but about recognizing our place in the larger tapestry of existence and letting go of the illusion that we're the authors of every chapter of our lives. The gift of patience. Healing takes time, and suffering often demands that we slow down and be patient with ourselves. In a world that values quick fixes and instant gratification, patience is a rare and precious virtue. When we learn to sit with our pain, allowing it to unfold at its own pace, we develop a deeper understanding of the natural rhythms of growth and recovery. The gift of gratitude. Finally, hardship can cultivate gratitude. When we emerge from a difficult period, the simple joys of life often shine brighter. We appreciate the moments of peace, the support of loved ones, and the beauty of everyday experiences with a freshness that wasn't there before. Gratitude becomes a lens through which we view the world, transforming even the most ordinary moments into sources of joy. The process of transformation. Understanding that suffering can be transformed into strength is one thing. Applying that understanding in the midst of pain is another. The journey from suffering to growth requires intention, practice, and patience. Acknowledge the pain. The first step in transforming suffering is to acknowledge it without judgment. This means allowing yourself to feel the full weight of your emotions without trying to push them away or fix them immediately. It's about creating space for your experience to be exactly as it is. In Buddhist practice, this is often done through meditation, where you sit with your thoughts and feelings, observing them without getting caught up in their stories. Reflect on the experience. Once you've acknowledged the pain, you can begin to reflect on it. Ask yourself questions like, what can I learn from this experience? How has it changed me? What strengths or qualities have emerged as a result of this hardship? This reflection isn't about forcing positive thinking, but about honestly exploring the impact of your suffering on your life. Cultivate mindful awareness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present with your experience, without judgment. When you're mindful, you're not trying to change anything. You're simply observing what's happening in the here and now. This awareness helps you see your suffering not as a permanent part of your identity, but as a passing experience that doesn't define you. It allows you to step back from the drama of your emotions and gain perspective on your situation. Practice self-compassion. Self-compassion is the art of treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend who is suffering. It involves recognizing that pain is a part of the human experience and that you're not alone in your struggles. When you're going through a difficult time, speak to yourself with compassion. Offer yourself words of comfort and encouragement, just as you would to someone you care about. Seek support. No one needs to navigate suffering alone. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of community, sangha, in the journey toward awakening. Sharing your struggles with trusted friends, family members, or a support group can provide relief and new insights. Others' perspectives can help you see your situation in a different light and remind you that you're not alone in your suffering. Take wise action. Finally, transforming suffering into strength often involves taking wise action. This might mean making changes in your life to prevent further harm, seeking professional help if needed, or finding healthy ways to express and process your emotions. It's about balancing acceptance of what cannot be changed with proactive steps toward healing and growth. Daily practices for transformation. Integrating the lessons of suffering into daily life requires ongoing practice. Here are some simple yet powerful ways to cultivate resilience and growth. Gratitude journaling. Each evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for, even on difficult days. This practice helps shift your focus from what's wrong to what's still right in your life. Meditation on impermanence. Spend a few minutes each day reflecting on the impermanent nature of all things, including your suffering. Remind yourself that this too shall pass. Acts of kindness. When you're feeling low, try doing something kind for someone else. Acts of compassion not only benefit others, but also help shift your perspective and connect you to a sense of purpose. Nature immersion. Spend time in nature, allowing its rhythms and beauty to remind you of life's cycles of growth and decay. Nature is a powerful teacher of resilience and adaptation. Creative expression. Use creative outlets like writing, art, or music to express your emotions and experiences. Creativity can be a healing force that helps transform pain into something beautiful. Conclusion. Your worst days are not the end of your story, but often the most transformative chapters. They are the crucibles in which resilience is forged, compassion is deepened, and wisdom is earned. By approaching your suffering with curiosity, compassion, and mindfulness, you can begin to see it not as a setback, but as a stepping stone on your path to growth. The journey from pain to strength is not always easy, but it is always possible. As you continue to explore this profound truth, remember that you are not alone. The Buddha and countless practitioners throughout history have walked this path before you, and their wisdom is here to guide you. Your suffering has the potential to become your greatest teacher, shaping you into a person of depth, resilience, and profound inner peace. Not everything deserves a reaction. Cultivating inner stillness. The cost of constant reaction. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, we're bombarded with stimuli at every turn. From the relentless ping of notifications to the opinions and actions of others, there's a constant stream of inputs vying for our attention and response. Our minds, wired to react to potential threats as a survival mechanism, often leap into action without pause. The result is a life lived in a state of perpetual agitation, where even minor disturbances trigger emotional storms. Buddhism teaches us that this pattern of constant reaction exacts a heavy toll on our peace of mind and well-being. When we react impulsively to every perceived slight setback or annoyance, we surrender our inner calm to the whims of external circumstances. A critical comment from a colleague sends us spiraling into self-doubt. A long line at the grocery store triggers frustration and impatience. A friend's thoughtless remark ignites anger. These reactions not only drain our emotional energy, but also create ripple effects that impact our relationships, productivity, and mental health. Over time, this habit of reacting to everything erodes our resilience and leaves us feeling fragmented and disconnected from our true selves. The lake and pebble metaphor. One of the most vivid teachings in Buddhism on this subject is the metaphor of the lake and the pebble. Imagine a vast, calm lake under a clear sky. When a pebble is thrown into the lake, ripples emanate from the point of impact, disturbing the surface. However, if the lake is already still and undisturbed, the ripples from a single pebble will gradually subside, leaving the water peaceful once more. But if the lake's surface is already turbulent from previous disturbances, even the smallest pebble can create waves that grow and persist, amplifying the chaos. Our minds are like this lake. When we're in a state of inner stillness and balance, external disturbances, like the pebble, may cause momentary ripples, but they don't derail us. We can observe the disturbance without getting swept up in it. However, when our minds are already agitated, filled with unresolved emotions, stress, and anxiety, even minor external events can trigger significant reactions that leave us feeling overwhelmed. The difference between reaction and response. A critical distinction in this teaching is the difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is automatic, instinctive, and often driven by emotion. It's the immediate urge to defend ourselves when criticized, to lash out when angered, or to panic when faced with uncertainty. Reactions arise from the parts of our brain responsible for survival, the fight-or-flight response, without engaging our higher cognitive functions. A response, on the other hand, is a conscious choice made after pausing to consider the situation. It involves stepping back from the emotional charge of the moment and choosing an action that aligns with our values, wisdom, and long-term well-being. Responding requires the activation of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain associated with reasoning, self-awareness, and impulse control. It's the difference between slamming on the brakes in a moment of panic and calmly applying them after assessing the road ahead. Cultivating the pause. The key to freedom. The practice of inserting a pause between stimulus and response is the foundation of breaking the cycle of constant reaction. This pause creates space for mindfulness, wisdom, and choice. It's in this gap that we reclaim our power to respond thoughtfully, rather than react impulsively. Mindful breathing as an anchor. When you feel triggered by something, a harsh word, an unexpected setback, a notification that disrupts your focus, take a moment to focus on your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing the air to fill your lungs completely. Exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension you might be holding. Repeat this 2 or 3 times, bringing your full attention to the sensation of the breath. This simple act of mindful breathing can interrupt the reactive cycle and bring you back to the present moment. Observing without judgment. In that pause, observe your emotions and physical sensations without immediately acting on them. Notice the anger rising in your chest, the tightness in your jaw, the flutter of anxiety in your stomach. Acknowledge these feelings without labeling them as good or bad. By creating space to observe your experience, you prevent the emotion from automatically driving your behavior. Asking wise questions. During this pause, ask yourself reflective questions. Is this reaction necessary? Will my response improve the situation or make it worse? What would a wiser, more compassionate response look like? These questions help shift your perspective from reactivity to thoughtful engagement. Practical applications in daily life. The invitation to react less and respond more wisely extends to every aspect of your daily experience. Here's how you can apply this teaching in various contexts. Navigating interpersonal conflicts. In relationships, whether with family, friends, or colleagues, conflicts are inevitable. When someone criticizes you or behaves in a way that hurts you, practice pausing before responding. Take a breath, acknowledge your emotional reaction, and then choose a response that seeks to understand rather than to defend or attack. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but expressing them in a way that's constructive and respectful. Managing daily annoyances. Life is filled with minor irritations, traffic jams, long queues, rude behavior from strangers. These everyday annoyances can be opportunities to practice non-reaction. When you feel frustration rising, take a moment to notice it without acting on it. Remind yourself that this moment is temporary and not worth disrupting your inner peace over. You might even silently acknowledge the irritation and then consciously choose to let it go. Responding to internal criticism. One of the harshest voices we often react to is our own inner critic. When you make a mistake or fall short of your expectations, notice the self-judgmental thoughts that arise. Instead of spiraling into guilt or shame, pause and offer yourself compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to a friend in a similar situation. This practice helps weaken the power of the inner critic and strengthens your resilience. The ripple effect of non-reaction. When you consciously choose not to react to every disturbance, you create positive ripple effects in your life and the lives of those around you. By staying centered in the face of chaos, you model a different way of being in the world, one that's grounded in peace and wisdom. This can inspire others to do the same, fostering healthier relationships and communities. Integrating non-reaction into your practice. Cultivating the ability to not react to everything is a lifelong practice. Here are some daily exercises to help you develop this skill. Morning affirmation. Start your day by setting an intention to pause before reacting. Repeat a simple affirmation like, "I will create space between stimulus and response," or "I choose to respond wisely, not react impulsively." Mindful check-ins. Throughout the day, take a few moments to check in with yourself. Notice if you're holding tension in your body or feeling agitated. Use these check-ins as reminders to pause and breathe before responding to any challenges. Reflective journaling. In the evening, reflect on moments when you reacted impulsively and times when you successfully created space for a wise response. Journaling about these experiences helps you learn from them and refine your practice. Meditation on equanimity. Incorporate meditation practices focused on equanimity, the quality of remaining balanced and calm in the face of life's fluctuations. Sit quietly and observe your breath while gently acknowledging and releasing any urges to react to thoughts or sensations that arise. The freedom of discernment. Not everything deserves a reaction. This isn't about becoming indifferent or passive, but about developing discernment, the wisdom to know which situations require your attention and energy and which are merely passing disturbances. By practicing non-reaction, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of responding to every emotional trigger and reclaim your inner freedom. You discover that peace isn't found in controlling the world around you, but in mastering your relationship with it. As you continue to walk this path, you'll find that even in the midst of life's storms, you can remain centered, wise, and at peace. 6. Reframe the problem as a path. Turning challenges into opportunities for growth. The mindset shift from obstacle to opportunity. When we encounter difficulties in life, our initial reaction is often one of resistance. We see the problem as something to be avoided, eliminated, or conquered. It stands in our way, blocking our progress toward goals and happiness. But what if, instead of viewing challenges as obstacles, we began to see them as signposts, pointing us toward deeper wisdom and growth? This radical mindset shift is at the heart of Buddhist teachings on reframing problems as paths. The Buddha taught that suffering reveals the roots of our attachment, aversion, and ignorance, the very patterns that keep us trapped in cycles of stress and worry. When we face a challenge, it's an invitation to look within and explore these patterns. By reframing our perspective, we transform the energy of fear and resistance into curiosity and intention. This doesn't mean denying the pain or pretending everything is fine when it's not. Instead, it's about leaning into the discomfort long enough to discover its hidden gifts. The forest path metaphor. Imagine walking through a dense forest and encountering a fallen tree blocking your path. You could stand there frustrated and convinced that your journey is over. Or you could walk alongside the tree, discover a small opening beneath its branches, and continue moving forward. In that narrow gap, you might notice new plants, fresh sunlight filtering through the leaves, or a hidden stream you never would have seen otherwise. The obstacle itself becomes part of your adventure, a lesson in adaptability and perspective. This metaphor beautifully illustrates how reframing our challenges can lead to unexpected insights and growth. The fallen tree isn't just a barrier, it's an opportunity to explore new terrain and discover aspects of the forest and ourselves that we might have otherwise missed. The alchemy of turning poison into medicine. Central to this teaching is the concept of turning poison into medicine. This doesn't mean that challenges themselves are good or desirable. Rather, it's about recognizing that within every difficulty lies the potential for transformation and growth. The poison of suffering can be transmuted into the medicine of wisdom, compassion, and resilience. When we face a setback in our career, for example, we might initially feel defeated and worthless. But by reframing the situation, we can ask questions like, what can I learn about my strengths and weaknesses from this experience? What hidden talents might I need to develop to move forward? What new opportunities might arise from this change? In this way, the challenge becomes a catalyst for self-discovery and growth. Practical steps for reframing challenges. Reframing problems as paths isn't about putting a positive spin on everything or ignoring genuine suffering. It's a deliberate practice that requires intention, curiosity, and patience. Here are some practical steps to help you cultivate this mindset. Pause and breathe. When faced with a challenge, your first response might be one of panic, anger, or fear. Before reacting, take a moment to pause and breathe deeply. This simple act helps interrupt the stress response and create space for a more considered reaction. Observe your initial response. Notice the thoughts and emotions that arise in response to the challenge. Are you catastrophizing the situation, blaming yourself or others? These initial reactions are often rooted in fear or ego. By observing them without judgment, you begin to see them for what they are, mental patterns that don't necessarily reflect reality. Ask curious questions. Curiosity is the antidote to fear and resistance. Instead of focusing on how to eliminate the problem, ask questions that open up new perspectives. For example, what can I learn from this situation? How might this challenge help me grow? What opportunities for change or creativity does this present? What aspects of myself or my life has this challenge revealed that I need to address? Look for the deeper lesson. Often, challenges highlight areas in our lives that need attention, patterns of thinking or behaving that are causing us suffering. Maybe the challenge is showing you that you've been clinging too tightly to a specific outcome, or that you've been avoiding a necessary change. By looking for the deeper lesson, you begin to see the challenge as a teacher rather than an adversary. Trust the process. This step requires faith, not blind belief, but trust in the wisdom of life's natural flow. Trust that even though you can't see the entire path, each challenge is helping you grow in ways you might not yet understand. Trust that you have the inner resources to navigate this difficulty and emerge stronger on the other side. Applying reframing to specific challenges. Reframing challenges as paths can be applied to a wide range of situations. Here are some examples. Loss and grief. When facing the loss of a loved one, the pain can feel overwhelming and meaningless. But by reframing this experience, you might discover how it deepens your capacity for love, teaches you the value of impermanence, and connects you more profoundly to others who have experienced similar losses. Financial hardship. Financial difficulties can trigger fear and shame, but they might also prompt you to reevaluate your relationship with money, simplify your lifestyle, or discover new career paths that align more closely with your values. Relationship conflict. Conflict in relationships can be an opportunity to develop communication skills, practice forgiveness, and gain insight into your own needs and boundaries. Health challenges. Physical or mental health issues can lead to increased self-awareness, a deeper connection to your body, and a greater appreciation for wellness. The ripple effect of reframing. When you begin to reframe challenges as opportunities for growth, it creates positive ripple effects in your life and the lives of those around you. You become more resilient, adaptable, and open to new experiences. Your ability to see difficulties through a growth-oriented lens inspires others to do the same, fostering a culture of resilience and wisdom. Conclusion. Reframing challenges as paths is a transformative practice that changes how you relate to suffering. It doesn't eliminate difficulties, but it changes your relationship with them, allowing you to find meaning and growth even in the darkest times. By approaching challenges with curiosity, openness, and trust in the process, you begin to see that every problem holds within it the seeds of its own solution. This practice doesn't make life easier, but it makes you stronger, wiser, and more deeply connected to your own capacity for growth and transformation. As you continue to walk this path, you'll find that even your greatest challenges become stepping stones toward a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Faith is the antidote to fear. Cultivating inner confidence. The nature of fear. Fear is a primal emotion, deeply embedded in our biology as a survival mechanism. It alerts us to danger, prompts us to take action, and keeps us safe in the face of threats. But in our modern lives, fear often extends beyond immediate physical dangers. It manifests in worries about the future, doubts about our abilities, and anxiety about the unknown. We fear failure, rejection, loss, and the uncertainty that life inevitably brings. This kind of fear can paralyze us, preventing us from taking risks, pursuing our dreams, and living fully in the present moment. Fear thrives in the shadows of uncertainty. When we can't predict outcomes or control circumstances, our minds spin narratives of worst-case scenarios. We imagine the future through a lens of scarcity and threat, convincing ourselves that danger lurks around every corner. This mental projection creates a reality where fear dominates, even when there's no immediate danger. Faith is a light in the darkness. Buddhism introduces faith, saddha, in Pali, as a powerful antidote to fear. But this faith isn't the blind acceptance of doctrines or the leap of faith into the unknown without reason. Rather, it's an inner confidence rooted in experience, understanding, and wisdom. Faith in the Buddhist context is a light that illuminates the path forward, even when we can't see the entire journey laid out before us. Faith provides us with the courage to step into uncertainty, trusting that we have the inner resources to navigate whatever comes our way. It's not about ignoring fear or pretending it doesn't exist. Instead, it's about recognizing fear as a natural part of the human experience and choosing to move forward despite it. Faith is the bridge between fear and courage, between uncertainty and action. The foundations of Buddhist faith. Faith in Buddhism is built on several key foundations that give it substance and depth. Faith in the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha's teachings, Dharma, offer a map for navigating life's challenges and moving toward liberation from suffering. Faith in these teachings grows as we study, reflect on, and apply them in our lives. As we see positive changes in our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, our faith is strengthened by direct experience. Faith in the community. The Buddhist community, Sangha, is a source of support, inspiration, and guidance. When we connect with others who share our aspirations and values, we find strength in our collective wisdom and experience. The community reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles and that others have walked the path before us. Faith in our own potential. At the heart of Buddhist faith is the belief in our own capacity for growth, transformation, and awakening. The Buddha taught that every being has the potential to achieve enlightenment, that we all possess the inner seeds of wisdom and compassion. Faith in ourselves encourages us to cultivate these qualities and trust in our ability to overcome obstacles. Cultivating faith through practice. Faith isn't merely a passive belief, it's nurtured and deepened through active practice. Here are some ways to cultivate faith in your daily life. Mindfulness and meditation. Regular mindfulness and meditation practice help us develop a clearer understanding of our minds and emotions. As we become more familiar with the nature of fear and how it arises, we also discover our ability to observe it without being overwhelmed by it. This practice builds faith in our capacity to remain present and grounded amid uncertainty. Reflecting on past challenges. Think back to times when you faced difficulties and emerged stronger on the other side. Remind yourself of the resilience and inner strength you demonstrated in those moments. This reflection isn't about arrogant self-congratulation, but about recognizing that you've navigated uncertainty before and can do so again. Studying the teachings. Deepen your understanding of Buddhist principles by studying the Dharma. Read classic texts, listen to teachings from respected masters, and discuss ideas with fellow practitioners. The more you engage with the teachings, the more you'll find aspects that resonate with your experience and strengthen your faith. Acts of kindness and compassion. When we act with kindness and compassion toward others, we embody the qualities we aspire to cultivate within ourselves. These actions not only benefit others, but also reinforce our faith in the positive impact we can have on the world. They remind us that our efforts matter and that we're capable of contributing to the greater good. Faith in impermanence. A crucial aspect of Buddhist faith is the understanding of impermanence, anatta. Everything in life is in a constant state of change. This includes our circumstances, emotions, and even our sense of self. When we grasp this truth, we realize that no moment of fear or suffering lasts forever. Faith in impermanence gives us the strength to endure difficult times, knowing that they will eventually pass. This understanding also applies to positive experiences. By accepting that all things are temporary, we learn to appreciate the present moment without clinging to it. This balanced perspective helps us navigate life's ups and downs with greater equanimity. Faith in community. As mentioned earlier, the Buddhist community plays a vital role in cultivating faith. In traditional settings, practitioners gather regularly to share teachings, meditate together, and support one another on the path. Even in modern context, finding a community of like-minded individuals can significantly enhance your practice. When we're surrounded by others who embody faith and wisdom, we're inspired to deepen our own commitment. The community offers guidance when we're uncertain, encouragement when we're discouraged, and a sense of belonging that reinforces our faith. Overcoming obstacles to faith. Cultivating faith isn't always easy. Doubts, setbacks, and moments of disillusionment are natural parts of the journey. Here are some common obstacles and how to work with them. Doubt. Doubt is a natural companion on the path. It can even be healthy, as it prompts us to question and deepen our understanding. When doubt arises, approach it with curiosity rather than judgment. Investigate the source of your doubt and explore how the teachings might address it. Doubt can be a stepping stone to stronger faith if engaged with wisely. Setback. Even with strong faith, life will inevitably bring setbacks and failures. These moments can shake our confidence, but they also offer opportunities for growth. When you experience a setback, return to your practice with compassion. Remind yourself that setbacks are part of the learning process and that each challenge is a chance to strengthen your faith and resilience. Spiritual bypassing. Faith shouldn't be used to bypass or ignore genuine emotions and challenges. It's important to balance faith with honesty and self-awareness. Acknowledge your fears, pain, and struggles, while also trusting in your capacity to work through them. True faith embraces the full spectrum of human experience. Conclusion. Faith is a transformative force that enables us to move through fear with courage and grace. It's not a magic shield that makes fear disappear, but a steady light that guides us forward even when the path is unclear. By cultivating faith in the Buddha's teachings, in our community, and in our own potential, we develop the inner strength to face life's uncertainties with wisdom and compassion. As you continue to nurture your faith, remember that it grows through practice, reflection, and experience. It's not about achieving a perfect state of fearlessness, but about developing the confidence to step into the unknown with openness and trust. In doing so, you'll discover that fear no longer has the power to control you. Instead, it becomes a reminder to awaken your faith and continue on the path toward liberation and inner peace. Final thoughts. Walking the path of inner freedom. In this journey through Buddhist teachings, we've explored profound insights into how to navigate life's challenges with greater peace, wisdom, and resilience. From understanding that thoughts aren't always truths, to reframing problems as paths and cultivating faith as an antidote to fear, these teachings offer a comprehensive guide to transforming our relationship with suffering and uncertainty. The essence of these teachings can be distilled into a few key principles that serve as a compass for ongoing growth. You are not your thoughts, your fears, or your circumstances. You are the vast sky of awareness beneath the passing clouds of mental activity. This awareness is your true home, a place of peace and clarity that's always accessible, no matter what's happening in your life. Return to this awareness whenever you feel overwhelmed. Everything changes. Joy and sorrow, gain and loss, all are temporary. This impermanent nature of life isn't something to fear, but an invitation to appreciate each moment fully. Let go of clinging to what's fleeting and find stability in the present moment. These teachings aren't meant to be mere intellectual concepts, but lived experiences. Through mindfulness, meditation, and reflection, you develop the wisdom to see through the illusions that cause suffering and to respond to life with clarity and compassion. As you grow in understanding and peace, remember to share this light with others. The Buddha's teachings emphasize compassion and the interconnectedness of all beings. Your journey isn't just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of all those you touch. In the spirit of spreading wisdom and compassion, the Buddha might encourage you in these words. Just as a single candle can light many others, share the light of these teachings with those around you. Let this channel be a torchbearer of knowledge and inspiration on your path. Subscribe to continue receiving guidance that helps both you and others move toward awakening. In sharing and supporting each other's growth, we create a brighter world for all beings. May these teachings continue to guide you toward inner freedom and peace. Walk the path with patience, kindness, and unwavering faith in your capacity to awaken.